Welcome back. Dewey Snacks here, being bipolar. Now, I am going to forewarn you. Um, this is going to be a real bitch of an episode. So, I'm putting explicit language in this. I'm going to be upfront and forward about everything on this episode. First, Mick of the day. And as I talk and think all this through, I get aggravated anxiety up and everything because Kanye West is the biggest dipshit I know. He is the Mick of the day, and the reason why is this whole episode is all about dipshits. So, Kanye West is telling everybody he's got the background for mental health issues. You can tell he's bipolar. You can tell the way he acts. He doesn't care. He's dealing with things in his own way. And when it comes down and he needs to escape all the bullshit that he's pulling, and we know what it, I mean, I hate it when people talk very badly about a culture that I believe deserves more respect. The Jewish community, they are awesome, pure. I love their ancient wisdom and knowledge throughout thousands of years. Okay, so when you talk shit about a culture you have no understanding about, it just shows how ignorant you really are. And Kanye West is one of the most ignorant sons of bitches I have ever seen in my life. Okay, he's going to screw up, do something stupid, and get himself into a lot of trouble. Then he's going to use his mental illness to get out of it by going to a retreat for about 6 months, write a album because he's inviting all his friends every day. So he's going to write music for that 6 months or so, 3 months maybe, you know. But he's going to be writing music, and lo and behold, he's going to be better. He's going to have an album come out. He's going to go on tour. Kanye West is better, and oh my, he's going to make millions because idiots out there support him. They just let him do whatever the hell he wants to do because, oh, he's Kanye West. He made, what, a couple of really cool songs, and then he thought he was a rock star? Yeah, let me just... No, he doesn't even play an instrument. All his music's done on a computer. All he has to do is talk on it. That's it. I know a lot of musicians. I do not call them rappers. My nephew is one of them. He is a professional musician. He has been on stage in front of people. He writes his own music. He does his own thing. He doesn't go around telling everybody he's a rock star. Yeah, he might not have the fame and the fortune of Kanye, but he's more of a musician than Kanye West will ever be. Okay, so enough about that dumbass. Kanye West, whoo, making the day, yay! Okay, let's get over that. Now, tonight's episode is on morality. Now, Doobie Snacks, I have always questioned morality because of my mind, my mental issues. I questioned everything. And being raised in a Christian household, now, mind you, my father did not push any of that shit on me. My mother did. Okay. Now, my mother was dealing with her own mental issues. And I firmly believe she found solace and peace in the church. I get it. I understand it. You know. But my father, God bless him, I love this man to death. He is my hero. Plain and simple. He he showed me a different side without even knowing it, you know. So there are little things that we pick up growing up from our parents that we don't realize. And that's why a lot of people are always saying that you end up being like your parents. Well, that to me that is true. I ended up mentally like my mother, and ended up humorously like my father. And my sister, she got the same thing. And my sister and I are two peas in a pod. And one of the things we'll be discussing tonight is my sister and her friends get together on Tuesday nights. They unwind. They have a great time. Mostly listen to music, watch movies, eat good food. I mean, my sister's boyfriend is a great, great guy. He cooks for her and he treats her the way she needs to be treated right now. I mean, my sister is dealing with her own issues from her own family is suffering and dealing with day-to-day things. You know, my family is suffering from so many different issues, and it all starts with mental. The addiction, the constant anxiety issues, the constant needing of therapy just to talk them out, not having the proper outlet, and always, always returning back into the life that led you to the addiction in the first place. All of us have our problems, and I'm talking about morality. All of these issues that we suffer from are based on morals that have been basically embedded in our mind for what, 2,000 years? Our morals came from the church 2,000 years ago. Christianity started with barriers giving us one God to worship. Now, the other cultures that were based on philosophy, they didn't have that single deity. They didn't have the one true God. They had many. They didn't worry so much about religion as they did about the state of their people and how their culture, their civilization, can move forward with so many different cultures being absorbed into this one. In other words, you have the Egyptians, you have the Greeks, you have the Romans, all of which had many, many gods. Okay, some of these, Egyptians especially, if you made one step, you had to pray to 30 gods that you didn't make any damage or do any harm so that your soul could pass through the gates. Yeah, it just, so many different cultures being absorbed into one conquering civilization. You get a mix of people. You get diversity. And I don't know about you, but I would much rather live in a society where it's diversified. Women had more power back then than they had throughout. Well, you have to understand that women were actually given the respect they deserved because the people knew what the mothers were worth. They knew what the elderly women in their wisdom were worth. Okay, women were able to worship at these different temples. I mean, some of these temples were all women because of their purity and their beauty. Okay, and that's just one thing. Another, sexuality. There was no. If your heart loved someone else, was attracted to someone else, lusted after someone else, the one civilization, the cultures that had many gods and did not worry about those things, they enjoyed each other. There was no labels. Even the prostitutes were given more respect back then by the many gods than they were the one God. Prime example, Mary Magdalene. Oh, she was a whore for the longest time in the church because they didn't want any attention on Mary. No. Mother Mary got what she needed attention wise, but it all went to, Jesus, the prophet turned son of God thanks to Constantine. But that's a whole different story. Our morals now is based on a book of 66 stories. Now, the reason why I bring my sister and her Tuesday night enjoyment is that they call me when they're pretty drunk and we get into heated discussions. Now, there is a Turkish goddess that hangs out with them, and she is so much fun to talk to. She comes from a culture that I truly love and respect. Okay, Turkey is groundbreaking for everything that we have learned about ancient culture and ancient societies. Throughout that whole area, the Sumerians just conquered and became the first ancient civilization in that area. Okay, and she has that background in her. So I have nothing but respect. Every time I talk to her, it's always brought up. I don't know if she gets sick of it or not, but it's the same aspect as I talk to my cousins out in California. My cousin married a great Filipino gentleman who works as a nurse, and his family, they are really close. And again, that the Asian Pacific culture in itself, I love as well. Specifically the Kumar region where the Angkor Wat, the Angkor setup, the way they built on a swampy area and grew, and the architecture is so beautiful. And I give all cultures and the people that come from them their respect and due. They might not have a thing to do about it or not know anything about it. But I personally, it makes me feel good to honor that culture because I have studied them, or I have had, when I'm studying something, they have something to say. Or like Carthage, when I studied on Rome, they were, or with Genghis Khan. It's just, there are a lot of side things when you study different cultures. And the cultures that I respect the most are the ones that let the people be who they want to be without feeling guilty about it. Since the church has gotten involved, our morals have altered so many different times. I mean, you got to the point where kings of other nations and other cultures people of leadership guiding away and making their own religions and form of Christianity. Well, England did it, and he wanted a divorce, and the church said, "No, you can't do that." Well, I'll make my own damn religion then. But all in all, our morals guide us basically to have a guilt-free life. But I'm sorry to tell you, there is nobody on this planet that is guilt-free. I'm sure that, even the Dalai Lama, God bless him, R.I.P. dude, probably upset his, people and his culture and his God doing something. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got issues and everybody's got their guilt. They've done something in the past. And the morals that we live by is what's giving us those guilty feelings. One of the things that I'm trying to change of myself is open honesty, no matter if it hurts you or not. And it's all based on morals. Morally, how do I do that without hurting somebody? I don't want to hurt someone, but I don't want them to keep going and doing stupid shit while, I'm sitting there taking your stupid redneck ignorant crap, and I take it, I respect it, it's your opinion, you choose to say whatever, but when it becomes violent, which it seems to be happening more and more these days, people are getting fed up with following 2,000-year-old morals, 3,000-year-old morals. Yeah, people have survived centuries, millennia, on not having morality issues in their world. Okay, look at the Egyptian culture. It flourished so many different ways for thousands of years. And it was taken down because of morals. Cleopatra, Alexander came in and took it all out. Well, Alexander had his own moral issues. Everybody was making a big deal. Oh, Alexander was bisexual. So, in their society, there was no issue with that. In their world, it didn't matter. And it goes along with the labels that are given to a lot of us. I mean, damn, dude, really? We need to start getting over the fact that the only thing in life that hasn't advanced, along with technology in our world, is our morals. Our morals have not changed. Our laws, most of our laws, are based on morals. And lo and behold, everything else has advanced. Hell, I think it's time we start changing the morals so we could have a better understanding of what is right and wrong. Because there are countries out there that have different moral backgrounds and traditions, and they're existing in a lot happier. Now, they might be a third world country, okay, mind you, but yet, why are we escaping to these third world countries in order to be who we want to be? We have all these people hiding money because there's so much control. And we have all these people wanting to leave because there's so much based on morals that are so old that, I'm sorry, but we need to start developing our morality so we can exist a lot longer than what we're almost at 300 years, America, right? Yeah, there are cultures out there that have been around for 3,000 years that have learned to exist without dealing with moral issues. So it's in us to figure out what exactly is right and wrong for our soul. Because we're the ones that have to live with it. Not the government, not the president, not the church. None of them. The church does not care. Okay, I'm sorry to say, but the church, the Catholic Church alone, they own their own city. That city is what, number 15 of the most earning? There are so many crooked aspects to the Vatican themselves and the history behind the Vatican, and yet they have 2 billion followers. Okay? Think about that. One of the greatest pyramid schemes in the world. Okay? And God is not on top of that. Sorry to say. Okay? But that's another podcast. Right now, morals are basically bringing us down as a society because with these morals in place still, we have people that feel like they're being wronged. We have people feeling like their voice is not being heard. We have more issues that are happening so often that I can't understand why. And to be honest, I don't want to. It's not my place. All I can do is just worry about my mind and my friends, my family, my cats. Today, Gandalf found his new home, his new permanent home with a good family, So, my hat's off to my boy Gandalf. On my Facebook, there's a whole bunch of pictures and movies and things of Gandalf playing. So, if you guys ever want, take a look at the Facebook. But now, the music movie segment. Now, I didn't know really what to go with on a lot of this, but the movie that I have chose is I watched Some Kind of Wonderful. Okay, and it wasn't a dare or a bet. My math teacher goddess out there was watching it and listening to the music, and she was being reminded of the past and how she wanted to be a certain person in the movie. So I'm like, okay. I sat and I watched it. And while I was watching it, she was telling me bits and pieces of how she felt about the person that's in this movie. And the movie in itself it's pretty cool, okay? It's one of those John Hughes movies. It's one of his first ones. So it's not as, quirky. It's more romantic. And it's got a great ending, great story, but the enjoyment I got from the movie was listening to my friend describe how she wanted to be in high school, the same character. And all in all, I'm thinking, I knew her in high school. I knew her very well. And she was so sheltered and naive in a way. And we've discussed this, but that inner person she had in her, the person that she wanted to be in the movie, she already was. Okay? It was already in her. I recognized it when I watched the movie and then looking back at our past. And it's hilarious because she did not realize it at all. Even the time that she and I spent together, a lot of music was being introduced to both of us. Okay, we grew up learning these great music, the artists, on her birthday, I got her Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. We And when she described, and I watched this movie, it's like, you already were her. It just didn't come out. There was, her mother and father were, oh man, good people, good, solid people. And they protected Noelle from a lot of the stuff out there. And I'm sorry, but she came out little by little. And the reason I don't mean to harp on this, but a lot of you out there want to be somebody else that you see on the screen. But, most of the time when you identify with that person and you want to become that person, you already are. You just got to figure out how to show it or bring it out. Okay? That's the one thing I love about movies, music videos, concerts. You're able to put yourself there or identify with someone. And you want to be that someone. Well, that gives you hope. You're able, I can identify with that person. I want to do more of what that person is doing. I want to be more like them. Well, if you do, and that gives you hope, that gives you that drive to be more like that individual. Okay? So, when, all in all, I picked Some Kind of Wonderful because my math teacher, she identified. And it made me think that there are a lot of people out there that need to identify with someone. That, most of the time, it should be fictional. I'm sorry, but because when it's non-fictional and you actually get the chance to meet the person, expectations high, yeah, you lose that. But I like the fiction part because it's already made up for you. That character is already there. You don't have to do anything. If you identify with that character, it's already self-made for you. As time progresses, that character is going to alter in your mind the way your mind wants to see it. So, all in all, I'm hoping that this is a lesson for anybody out there that identifies like my math teacher did. So, all in all, peeps, this is Doobie Snacks saying adios, muchachos. Go to my Facebook. Love you. Bye-bye.